Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm David Bowles, and today we sink our teeth into the horror of kindness. A horror in 5 skins. I want to talk about a face. Specifically, I want to talk about the face you see when you look in the mirror and the face other people see when they look at you, and whether those two faces have ever been the same face, and what happens to a person who discovers, at the age of 5, that the answer is no, and that the distance between the two can be closed by reaching out and copying someone else's bone structure onto your own skull. That is the premise of my new novel, The Borrowed Saint, a horror in 5 skins. A boy named Asa Greer stands in a bathroom in Decker, Ohio, and watches his reflection change. His cheekbones soften. His jaw loses its angles. The space between his eyes widens. For 3 seconds, maybe 4, he is looking at the face of the boy next door on his own head. Then it collapses. His own features rush back, and the bathroom is loud again. He is 5 years old, and he has just learned that his face is not fixed. I wrote this book because I wanted to examine a question that has occupied me for years. What is the relationship between the face you wear and the self behind it? Identity gets talked about as if it were an interior phenomenon, something located behind the eyes, something stable and continuous and owned. Faces get treated as surfaces, windows into the self. The assumption is that the window is transparent, that light passes through. Asa Greer tests that assumption by removing it. He can copy any face he sees, build composite faces from dozens of sources, calibrate jaw angles and brow weights the way a sound engineer works a mixing board, walk through a room wearing the face that room wants to see, and the room will respond accordingly, because rooms are stupid. Rooms read surfaces. Rooms do not check whether the window is a window or a painting of a window. And the painting, if it is good enough, will receive the same light. The cost is sensory. Each face he takes extracts a specific, irreversible payment: his own skin smell, tap water's taste, a winter coat's texture, his heartbeat, tonal discrimination in music, the ability to feel the difference between wood and plastic. Strand by strand over 50 years, the web of sensation that connects a person to their own life is severed and replaced by borrowed faces that connect him to other people's responses. He becomes an expert at producing reactions and an amateur at having experiences. The book tracks him from childhood through adolescence, through political consulting, through institutional power, and at every stage the mechanism is the same. Study what the audience wants to see, build a surface that delivers it. The only thing that changes is the scale. A bathroom's audience is a mirror, a classroom's is a teacher. At a consulting firm, the audience is a candidate's donors. In the corridors of governance, the audience is the public, and the face is the face of the institution itself. His most dangerous invention is, performed, goodness. He discovers, at a fundraiser, that competence produces compliance, charisma produces admiration, authority produces obedience, and goodness produces worship. A room that has witnessed an act of authentic compassion will defend the person who performed it against any attack, because attacking that person's goodness is attacking their own belief that goodness exists. Asa builds a kindness persona. He deploys it. The warmth that other people's trust generates in his body is narcotic in its intensity. and his body is allergic to it. Every deployment burns, the threshold contracts. The margin between the face the world needs and the face his body can sustain narrows to minutes. Inside him, the consumed are accumulating. The faces he has stolen do not disappear. They persist as phantom motor programs, ghost sensations, a collective murmur that grows from whisper to speech to chorus. By his 50s, the archive is pressing outward, and his composite face begins to slip in public. Through all of this, one figure recurs. His name is Harlan Mook. He sits in the front row of Asa's second-grade classroom, and he does something Asa cannot account for. He is kind without performing kindness. A pencil drops, and Harlan picks it up, because the floor is not where pencils should be. A child is crying, and Harlan stands near the child and says nothing, and does not touch the child and remains present until the crying stops. When a snack breaks in two, the larger half goes away with no hesitation and no glance to see if the giving has been witnessed. Asa can see what Harlan does. He can catalog the inputs and outputs. What he cannot locate is the engine. Something inside Harlan is generating these behaviors, and that something operates below the level of decision, the way a heart beats without being told to beat. Asa tries to build a Harlan face in the mirror. The result is close. Every measurement is precise, and the face is dead at its center. A window painted on a wall. Light does not pass through it. Harlan appears 3 times across 50 years. Each time he is doing real work, testing water samples, reviewing data, maintaining the invisible infrastructure that keeps a city alive. The dedication of the book reads, "For the good men who dig the ditches. The water flows, no one applauds. That is Harlan. That is the counter-argument to everything Asa has built. Harlan's goodness is a ditch. Real water flows through it to somewhere useful. Asa's goodness is a painting of a ditch. It looks like a ditch. Nothing flows through it." The book ends with a clinical appendix titled "On the Lability." Case notes of uncertain provenance recovered from an institutional archive. The notes describe Asa's condition in medical language, and then an addendum filed separately describes a woman who presented at a clinic in 1987 asking whether the condition could be passed to a child. She would not give her name. She said her father had possessed the ability to move his face, and that it had eaten him from inside, and that she had spent her life holding still so it would not start. That woman is Asa Greer, Asa's mother. And every scene of her emotional distance, every closed face, every hand that withdrew after the briefest possible contact, is retroactively reframed by that paragraph. Cordelia was containing something. Her whole life had been spent holding still so the lability would not activate in her, and it activated in her son instead, and the distance between them was permanent, and the distance was not her fault, and was not his fault, and was the fact of their lives. The Borrowed Saint is available now from David Bowles Books Writing and Publishing at bowlesbooks.com. Kindle ebook and paperback. For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm David Bowles, wishing you a thrilling evening and a scarier tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Be a Human Meme.